This is the Shadow pinball by Williams Bally, made in 1994, and I picked this up just recently. Now, I'm very happy to say the machine is in pretty good condition, not too bad at all, but still a couple of things that need to be repaired and looked at. I'm pretty happy with the overall condition of the machine. Everything seems to be working okay. The dot matrix is in nice working order, and there's no major damage. There's some plastics which have suffered a little bit of cracking here and there, but nothing really major. Looking at the artwork, everything seems to be well, pretty much as it should be, really. There's no major chips or dents taken out of the actual playboard, but it is very dirty. And what I'm picking up over here, if I just run my finger over it, I don't know if you can see that, but on the end of my finger has gone all silver there, and that is that's solenoid dust. That's dust that the ball is picking up, and that's completely all over this playfield area. You can see it on the backs of the battlefield over there. You can see it's a bit dirty. Go across on the ramps, just dirty and needing a bit of a clean. I see one of the rings, and there's 4 rings in this game. One of the rings is not working. That's that one over there. That's not working. All of the flashers were not working, but I've managed to sort that problem out. Normally, if your flashers are not working, none of the flashers were working. So it kind of looks like it's a fuse. It's an F1 there. It's a 5 amp slow blow fuse, which I managed to pick up. There they are, 5 amp slow blow fuse, so that should be able to sort that out. The sanctum, there's a wall in the sanctum which is somewhere in there, and we have a broken piece. It's not working. It's saying that it's a bad switch. It's not jumping up. It's not coming down, which is kind of interfering with the gameplay. So that's going to be my first major thing now, is to maybe get that working. So here is the assembly. This is the drop target, the long drop target that leads into the sanctum. Now this is broken. This piece over here is completely broken off, which I'm going to need to cement on. So I've just kind of put it together as it should be. And there's 2 coils here at the back. You'll notice when I disconnected the wires, what I did was I numbered them and the corresponding numbers on the machine, because it seems simple enough when you're taking them apart, but it can get very confusing, especially if you're taking a lot of parts off, or if you're doing a clean of the machine. So this one is numbered number 2, this one's number 1, and they're corresponding on the other side. 2 coils. This coil over here is the target down coil, so that would like pull in when activated, allowing the target to go down like that. The other coil, this one here, that's the target up coil, so that kind of would activate, pulling the target up. Now what's happened is the target, as you can see, is not running straight. It's skew. It's not being held properly, and that's kind of what we need to be fixing. This is completely broken off and loose, so there's no decent guide, which means this switch is not being activated when it goes down, which is kind of causing all kinds of hassles with the game. The game doesn't know whether the target's up or down. When it does go up, it won't go down properly. There you go. Now that should put it back up again. So it's just broken, really. So let's see what we can do to repair that. I've managed to sand this down just using a little bit of water paper, just to roughen it up. Cleaned it up with a little bit of Novus, and I've managed to use some liquid steel, some very strong dual bonding agent to kind of mix together to stick that down. So now it's an hour's wait, and then we'll see if it's been successful. The long drop target, Kristen is busy cleaning it up over there. How's it looking?
It's looking quite fine.
She's trying to get all the dirt out between the bricks where all the dust kind of builds up, and it's about getting everyone involved and having loads of fun. Are you enjoying it, Kristen?
Yeah.
this is the wall target now assembled. There it is at the back with your two coils. So the idea is for this coil, as it pulls in, that's going to raise the target, and as it raises the target, there's a locking coil. It's a tiny little coil over here which is going to click in, and that's going to lock it, and you'll actually see it come through the target as it gets to the top there. Watch closely, you'll see that locking. It's just above that guide. There it is. So that's the other coil. It's in place. So that's now locked up, and then when you hit that, or when the opto switch says so, then that coil is going to pull back, which is going to give you this effect. Let's pull that back for you, and you'll see that that target will just kind of drop back down again. And it's that guide that was giving us the hassle that wasn't working. So hopefully that's going to hold, and it's going to stand up to kind of the rigors of the game. Only time will tell. I've just come to put the bolts back on, and there's one of the holes where the bolts is going in there is completely stripped out. So I've removed the seating again. I'm just going to put a little piece of a matchstick in there. I'll pop that into that hole over there, and then I'll put it back on again, and that should hopefully just solve that problem. That's a nice tip, that if you ever got any nuts or bolts underneath the table that are stripped, just take a little bit of matchstick, pop it in the hole, and that should hold everything nicely in place. I'm in my test menu now to check if this is working. I've gone into tests, I've gone into solenoid test, and I've gone through to wall target up, and now to see if it works. Well, that certainly works. Now to change the test to wall target down. Here we go. That's it. It works. I'm now going to put the machine into test mode, which is kind of open up the door, and you'll notice you have 4 switches over here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The first switch, when I push that, it gives me my main menu, it gives me my tests. Then to rotate through my tests, I'm going to use plus and minuses over here, printouts, tests, and then I use this one to say enter, so it enters my tests mode. The first test that it gives me are switch edges, which is what I'm looking for, because I want to be looking at the opto switch on that mini playfield, so I want to be testing that switch, so I use enter to go into it. Now I'm going to check an opto that I know is working, just to show you what an opto is. An opto is, there's a sensor right inside there and right inside there, and it kind of shines an invisible beam, call it, across there, and when that's broken, that activates the switch. So when the ball goes through there, it obviously activates that switch. Now, looking at the mini playfield, we have an opto on this side, an opto on this side, so ideally when the ball goes through here, it should be activating that switch, and I hear absolutely nothing, so there's a problem with that switch, and that's what we need to be looking at. This opto over here, which is not working, but if I touch the wires leading up to it, I'm getting a reading. Now I'm wondering if that's not faulty wiring, a loose wire, so I'll be checking the connection between these wires and that switch, because it shouldn't be firing by touching the wires, it should be firing by breaking the beam that goes across there on that opto switch.